Awesome Comics. It's your boy John on Demand, aka I don't have an aka. 2021 robbed me of all of those AKAs. I gotta restock. I gotta replenish, but I did today with the comic book wall, aka comic book wall replenisher, I think, or purchaser. So take her away. Or anyways, I'm joined by co-CEO Tom Devine. There can only be one. We're marching just loud and proud into the year of 2021, keeping it comics, flipping those pages, reading those titles. Tom, how are you doing?
So good, John. I mean, thanks for meeting with me tonight. It's New Comic Book Day. We picked up some new comics. Rainbow Comics got their comics on time, as Lisa's always concerned, because I went at about 1 and it was ready. I was excited to get them up. I can tell you that Autumnal came out. That's a comic book look favorite, so that's exciting. Some other faves came out, so I'm excited to talk about the books that came out this week.
Heck yes. Oh man, I was so delighted to see that. And it was one of those, like, I'm scanning the shelves and I almost missed it because the cover wasn't like, it didn't have like the title on it, like there that I could see anyway. So I was like, oh, I see Autumn Leaves, pick that one up. So definitely, yeah, always a treat. Always a treat.
You're so right. I actually scanned like everything and I thought I had all my books and I was like, I'll just give it one last check. And I start usually at the A's and then work all the way through. And it was like, the second or third book and I completely missed it. I was like, and then I grabbed it and I was like, oh man, I would have been so pissed if I didn't get this book.
Right? I would have been mad too. Oh man. No, it's such a good offering, you guys. If you're not reading it, highly recommend it. Issue 3 was so bomb and I'm looking forward to seeing what's going on next and what kind of neighborhood mischief we get into of the supernatural sort. So
that's right, man.
Yeah, man. Well, awesome. Well, I will have you steer and take it on here for a second. I'll do the sharing out and get the word out.
That's right. Get that word out. We already got, Mike commenting with he's Thunderbolts came out today, so he must have been excited about that. I like to see that come in. And Mike, good to see you, man. Good to see you in the chat here. If you guys do have any questions or you want to just bring it up, we'd love to hear from you guys live or even after if you're watching a recording of this. So don't worry, man. Send that comment through. Me and John will see it. And we're definitely excited to talk about today's books. As you guys know, this is a weekly comic book show where we talk about what books came out today. And I got a good stack of them, even though I wasn't sure how big my stacks are going to be recently because I have just kind of completely dropped off of Marvel and DC books, except for little one-shots here and there. But it turned out that I had like a big stack, so I'm excited to check them out. And I do want to start, John, if I can, just with first book.
Do it.
Okay, so my first book, I got basically the title caught me off guard, and it's Space Bastards. This sounds like this is going to be dumb, more than likely, but it was from Humanoids Comics, something that I hadn't really heard of before, but it was, I saw Robertson. So I was like, oh, is that Derek Robertson? And yes, as you can see here in the corner, this is a guy, artist that I like from The Boys. So I was like, okay, I'm going to try it out. The Boys was a little overdone. It's kind of got like a Boys-esque character here, with that big old Fu Manchu and, this, but he's like a orc or a horn. It's like a horn or something. So anyway, alien, I guess, Space Bastards. So I decided to pick it up. I have no idea if this is going to be good or if it's not. I didn't realize until after I picked it up that it was $6. And I don't know if I would have taken the chance on a $6 book, but it is super thick. So I'm excited. I know Derek Robertson isn't an exactly fast artist. So I know like the reason John McCrea, I think, had to take over for The Boys is because he couldn't keep up the timing. So I'm sure this will be a slow moving book, but that's okay. I mean, we'll see if it even gets past the first issue for me, but Space Bastards #1 picked it up.
Heck yeah, man. Got to roll the dice sometimes and give it a whirl. Give it a whirl. I was going to save this book till the end, but Mike called it out. So I'm just going to jump in and let's talk TBolts, man. TBolts issue #1. I had a chance to read this one, actually. I won't spoil it just because it's day of. It's really interesting because it's one of those that I marched into it like, oh boy, how is this going to link to the previous titles? I'm a continuity junkie. My name's John. So as a reader, you just got to kind of slap yourself on the wrist sometimes and say, calm the F down and relax. And it's okay to have variations and all this stuff, So given the state of the world, I kind of see the coming of Null symbolic of 2021 in a sense. It's quite fitting, really. But it truly is a group of random people. But the funniest part is how quick the team disassembles in the first issue, and I think that is hilarious. So we'll see if it's worthy of the mantle of Thunderbolts. I'm still struggle busting with that a little bit because I just have such a fondness for that volume 1. That was by far the best thing. And then when they recently did the reboot, I was all giddy about that too. But it was like, the second volume was awful with like Punisher and Elektra and Red Hulk. We don't talk about that one. That doesn't even exist. That's how bad.
Who's the team now?
So we have all sorts of random characters, including Taskmaster, Star, who is a recent villain from Captain Marvel, who has one of the Infinity Stones as her superpower, the Reality Stone, I think. Rhino from Spider-Man.
I kind of like that.
Mr. Fear, and a few other people that I'm not as familiar with. And like I said, some of them don't even make it very far in the issue. So I suspect that it's probably going to deviate in terms of who's on the team, because technically the roster basically went through a meat grinder. Some of them did, and it was pretty hilarious actually. And the Kingpin is their boss, and that's kind of badass. I do like that.
Oh yeah, that's good.
So shout out to Wilson Fisk. So
big boy.
Yeah. Beer rating on that 4 out of 6.
Oh, nice.
That's fun.
Good.
Yeah.
I mean, not bad. I mean, right? I mean, that's still it's above 50%. It's TBolts.
Yeah.
Always exciting to have them back.
Yeah.
So my favorite comic of 2020 wraps up in 2021. This is the best comic that I feel came out. Lonely Receiver, number 5, Jen Hickman and Zach Thompson. They're doing like way out there stuff in this one. So I've talked about it a bunch, but I just want to talk about the whole series now. So this is a series that if you guys have heard before, it's like they're mixing internet, like our humans' addiction with the internet and connection of other people, mixed with loneliness and sex and our desires, our internal desires of what we want and what we should really, what should a human, like, what ends should you take those desires to? And then how the depths and lengths that a human being will go to, to reach those lengths and what it will actually do to themselves negatively, acting before thinking on these desires. And it takes place with this person, Katrin, and she has an AI girlfriend, Ryan, and Ryan leaves her, and she herself like becomes an AI. But in the end, she realized like she didn't want Ryan. She didn't want all of these other things. And she emerges out and she falls in love with this person in this really weird way, how they melded at the end. And then that person is herself. So in the end, like this was a whole journey to be like, no, like everybody has what they need inside themselves. You can be happy, you can make it through with yourself. And, everybody's going to have those longing feelings, but, being okay with yourself is something that's really, really hard. And, being happy when you're alone is hard. And it faces those and shows you that, it is okay. And then when you do have those other connections, makes life even better. I mean, that's what I took out of it. It was written so out there and so poetic in different ways that, it didn't make clear, logical, straightforward, linear storytelling sense. You really had to, put yourself into that position to take out of what it was. And I don't know, man. I mean, definitely the full keg on this series. I haven't given it a long time. Yeah, but yes, this gets the full keg, beyond a 6-pack, beyond a 12-pack, beyond a 24-pack. This is the full keg. It is the best book that I read in 2020. It's definitely not for everybody. A lot of people would read this and feel uncomfortable and be confused and not really like it. But if you write it all the way through, I think it really does hold a lot of emotions and a lot of deep feelings and like such intelligent writing for comics, man. It was like that indie film that is so good, that's like that hidden gem that nobody knows about, but you end up seeing. So I don't know, I really loved it,
dude. Heck yeah, that's awesome, man. Well, good. Me jumping off the big 2 bus super quick. We just talked about it, but Autumnal issue number 4, some mischief in the leaves. So, I love that cover. That's cool. Yeah, I went with this one. It was quirky. I love the little rake being grabbed there, and it's just so random.
I know I was
But
gonna go with that one, but then I was like, I think my other ones were more like this, and I
yeah,
might have got like one of the last ones like this. I don't know.
yeah,
But yeah.
no, this was, oh man, it was such a treat though, and I was just so excited. But no, I'm very, very, very stoked to read it. I haven't read it yet, but if you guys are not checking out Autumnal from Vault, highly recommend it.
Yeah, I mean, this is where it's at. I mean, I know Wednesday Comics has been giving, Wednesday Comics, my boys, they've been giving Stillwater a ton of praise. And so if you like Stillwater, it's almost like you have to also read this book. So definitely, I can't wait to read this copy.
Yeah.
See where we go next.
Yes. That's awesome.
So yeah, I guess I'll switch over to one of mine. I read another one. Let me find that one. Sweet Tooth: The Return. This is number 3 of 6. It says in the corner. I'm really hoping that's just the first volume, and then it's like Sweet Tooth: The Return, Sweet Tooth something else is where I really hope they go with it. It's so nice to have Jeff Lemire back doing this, Sweet Tooth dystopian world. It's in the future. We have this bad guy is the father. He has trapped Gus, a clone of originally Gus is the boy with antlers from the original series. And this little guy right down here, they cloned him again. It's 100 years later. And it's kind of about him busting out of this underground lair. It's almost like the Drow elves in the Forgotten Realms world live underground, and so do humans now, and the animals live on top, and they blame the animals the hybrid people for everything, and Gus is the answer. And I don't know, it's just so written so well because that's like the concept. But then the best part is all just the personal stuff with this girl who doesn't want to get involved at all. But she's like the blacksmith of the town, and you can tell she's the #1 badass. So she has to get involved. And then it's a bunch of like really, really touching panels with Penny right here, Penny and Gus right here. So it gets so good. It's just back and forth. It's all of this really, really personal stuff. And you see Penny's vulnerabilities. I don't know. I'm just so excited for this. I was wary at first. This is the issue that brought me all the way over. That's like, nope, this is as good as can be. Jeff Lemire doesn't let you down. Definitely. I did give it 5 out of 6 beers. Is what I would give as my rating, only because I was just too short. I wanted to keep going, and it was just like, it was such a quick read. I feel like I finished it in like 5 minutes, just so fast.
It's not the worst. Yeah, you get like that. It's like the best dream ever, and then you're like, no. Come back. Oh shoot. Well, I can't hold a candle to that one, it sounds like, and I'm not sure that these next 2 issues are not. I haven't read them yet, and I'm a little skeptical. And they have that King in Black header on them, but I'm going to do a 2-for-1 here. First of all, the Union, UK's new superhero team, issue number 2 tie-in. I honestly am just doing this to meet the characters. I love international teams in Marvel. I have no expectations whatsoever for this title. The first issue was good fun. I'm really excited to learn about, they have a character called the Choir, which I thought is just interesting. So I just want to learn more about the power set and just if there's any insight into the character. So hopefully there's a little bit of that. I haven't had a chance to thumb through it yet, but looking forward to that. And then Planet of the Symbiotes, I love Mom Venom, so had to rock with that and went with kind of a crazy cover with like everybody going crazy. So we'll see what all that looks like. It's probably just additional content of Null taking over the world. So
yeah, can you show me the cover of that Union? What was it? The Union?
Yeah, Union.
That's pretty cool. So it's like, yeah, I don't even know if I recognize like any of those characters. So is that like a take on Union Jack, I guess, or something?
Yeah. So Union Jack down here. So that's actually
there he is. He's getting stomped on.
Yeah, that's like a mantle that is passed down from person to person, I guess. And then the gal here in the forefront is Britannica, I want to say, and she's kind of like a Wonder Woman, but way less weak or like way less strong. So Wonder Woman's like amazing. She's like a C+. And then the rest of these characters, I don't know anything about, but they represent the different parts of the United Kingdom, which I think is really badass. And so I don't know. We'll see how it goes.
Oh yeah, and we'll get an Irish guy or Irish person, gal or girl in there, so that's awesome. Right?
Another St. Patty's Day episode up in here. That's right.
That's right. Next up, I got Heavy. This is number 4. I bought like 2 of the first one and 2 of the second one, so hopefully this isn't like a second printing. But yeah, this is about an angel who goes to like purgatory and has to become a hitman to like make it out. I don't know. It is wild and out there. It's a Vault comic. I love it. I wasn't so sure at first, but now I'm like fully on board. It's like super comic book fun. Just like comic book fun, hands down, ultra violent, everything that I like in these, comics that are not from the big 2. So another banger from Vault. Definitely check out Heavy. I can't wait to crack into this one. I haven't read it.
Shout out to Vault in general. Yeah. Heck yeah. All right. Well, on the old, let's see, I'll get these 2 together here. On the old Krakoa Express, a few more X titles came out. Sword issue 2, taking us into outer space. What's everything look like with the new space station? Looks like we might have possible symbiote there on the planet, so this might be touching on those events. So that's always fun. And then, of course, another Xenomorph variant. I had to go with it.
I had to. Those are so dope. Hold it up for a little bit longer. Oh, man, that's sweet.
So great, so funny. I just was like, yes, all the yes. So and Marauders has been really enjoyable. I think this issue is going to explain how Sebastian Shaw gets kicked in the balls by Kitty Pryde and Emma Frost quite thoroughly. The last issue was incredibly brutal, so I'm looking forward to seeing what's going on here.
Yeah, man, I can't believe every time you talk about that book, it like sounds more interesting than the last.
Great.
Like, how is that the book that seems so good? I mean,
weird. Yeah, I highly recommend it. It's a lot of fun.
That's a cool find for sure. I got a couple left here, so I'll do Big Girls number 6. I kept on kind of talking about dropping this. I don't know. It's great. I love the art. It's about these kaiju like big girls who protect the city from these kaiju like monsters that are jacks. And if you grow into being one of these monsters, if you're a boy, you're evil. If you're a girl, you're good. But it turns out that's not so clear. There's not a whole lot of story here. I mean, I wish this was the last episode, or the last issue, because it's just like, it would be fun to just wrap up this series and have this as a little finite series, but who knows where it's going to go. I don't know how long I'm going to stay on. It is fun. It's all fighting. It's just like big people fighting other big people. And, who knows? Some jacks are good. One of the big girls is bad. Who knows? But I guess I'm still on board. I picked it up.
All right. Well, that's an okay place to be. I'm in the same boat with this one. So Star Wars Darth Vader, we've been kind of ragging on it for a minute. We had some Lord of the Rings moments here with turns in the story. It's still interesting, though. Seeing him put on trial by the Emperor and the brutal punishment that entails is always kind of insightful to know, oh, Palpatine is kind of a jerk store. I mean, past blowing up a planet and whatever. No big deal. So it's, Star Wars Darth Vader issue number 9. It's not a series that I would like push or highly recommend. It's interesting to check out, though, if you're more interested in Darth Vader's relationship to the Emperor and seeing how the Sith take one another to school. So very interesting in that regard. And it's fine. The artwork and everything's good, so I don't know. I have a very high standard with the Star Wars books. There was actually, I want to say it was either a Dark Horse or an IDW offering or something, Star Wars Smuggler's Bounty or something that came out recently that's not under Marvel, and it weirded me out, and that was phenomenal.
Oh, really?
It had a couple more pages than normal, but it just felt like I watched a whole movie when I read through that, and I was like, that's what I like in a Star Wars title, is you sit back and you're like, that's badass. Okay, let's flip on the warp speed.
I wonder how it works. So from Marvel.
Right, isn't that weird? Yeah, there's a part 2 coming out too, so I'm keeping my eye out for that second issue because that first one was so great. It was so fun. So yeah, this kind of leaves me wanting better. The other book from like IDW or wherever it came from leaves me wanting more, and I would expect that from titles that I'm picking up. So I might drop it. We'll see. Plus the droids aren't in there. I need my homicidal droids.
Need those droids. All right. Well, my last book, blank pink book. It says haha, issue 1, back cover blank. I didn't look inside it even. I have no idea. I just bought it on this, whatever. Sometimes you just like I figured this was going to be better than the, whatever that bastard book was that I picked up. So, but then when I opened it, when we were we had a little bit of technical difficulties. I was just flipped through it really quick. The first one is like a clown. It's like kind of a creepy clown. And then I don't know, is this just because it's a scary? Because then this is just like a cardstock that doesn't even have anything on the front or back. And clearly this meant to be the cover. Yeah. And then clearly I would think this was meant to be the back. It has the label on the inside. Yeah. So I don't know, was like this too weird, having this weird clown take something out of his mouth that they had to cover this up? I don't know why, or is this a variant, whatever it is. It ended up being I didn't finish it, so I can't tell you all the way, but it's like a clown who has a family, and his wife doesn't like him, his kids are whatever. He is so appreciative towards life, though, which is really weird. His wife belittles him for being a clown. He gets fired when he goes to this amusement park that he works at. And then right when I was ending, his like best friend hits him in the face with a crowbar. So it's like, yeah, man, I guess, I'm excited to finish the rest of it, though. It was very, very interesting.
That's kind of brutal, man. I don't know.
Very.
Oh, man. We got a comment here from Mr. Derek. It is a variant cover. So right
there
on.
We go.
And also, Derek, I love your profile picture. That makes me super happy. All right, well, down to me with my last three, and these are going to be some random ones here. So first of all, book 3, Doctor Who, just kind of a cool crossover with some of the Doctor characters, including the most recent Doctor featured in there. So love the cover. It just kind of stood out to me. Books 1 and 2 were a blast, and the artwork inside was sick, story was sick, and I just loved reading it. So I'm like, I'll rock with it, and Ken's a huge Doctor Who fan too, so I'm like, maybe he'll want to read it. I don't know. But I was really excited to check it out. Oh man, up next, you guys, if Tom hasn't told you guys this, but he gets mad royalty checks, but got Mighty Morphin issue 3, the Green and the White Ranger. So Tom was legit asked to pose for this cover twice.
I got my Green Ranger stuff on today.
But what's funny though about these series, Mighty Morphin, and then there's another Power Ranger series going on. They're still doing the legacy covers that have the old numbering on it, and I am so pissed that I'm not just getting those, because they would line up perfectly in my collection, and I'm so mad right now. So
you do love those high numbers, so I would be mad if I were you too.
So frustrated. Mike's bringing that wisdom. Dr. Pepper is greater than Doctor Who.
Dude, Ken will punch you. Okay, yeah. I just want to let you know that, Mike.
Yeah, I'm staying out of that one. But I don't drink a lot of pop, so I have no skin in that game. But no. And this last one, super random, but I was just so darn curious about it. From Wake Entertainments. So go on, Indy. I'm rocking with Essentia.
Oh, nice. Cool, so John.
It just kind of stood out to me. Kind of some cool overtones. I flipped through, artwork looks sick. I'm really excited to see what this book is all about. I don't know what I'm getting into at all, but just wanted to try something new and see what's out there. So we'll see.
Dude, how fun, man! That's awesome. Yeah, man.
So very exciting, very very hodgepodge week, I think, for both of us.
Yeah, it was
with comics. But definitely an exciting week in comics nonetheless. And this Friday, hello, WandaVision.
WandaVision, it's coming. It's coming. I'm excited.
Yeah. And Tom and I did get a really cool invite. So in the 605 community, we are blessed to just be part of a really robust group of people that do shows on YouTube, podcast, etc. And we are actually going to be stepping as guests coming up this Sunday, and that is going to be with the Backlot 605 crew, and we will be talking about some Monty Python movies. So that is going to be just something that we're both like, awesome, let's do it, let's chop it up. So we're really excited about the invite and getting to connect with these guys. I had a chance to watch their episode last week about the Holy Grail. They reviewed it, and let me tell you, these guys know their stuff about film. So if you're ever looking for kind of a cool resource locally in the 605 area, or if you're just from around the world and want to check out a sweet show, highly recommend them.
Totally. I mean, these guys are so fun. They're 605 originals, just like us. They have I listen to their podcast through my podcast app, so you can see their little logo here, kind of. I guess you can't really see it that well. I'm really stoked to be on. John said he saw him on YouTube as well. So, I mean, you can just watch him on YouTube. That's where you're at right now. So I'm super stoked. I haven't watched Monty Python movies in a long time, and they're doing like a whole Monty Python month. And me and John are going to be like completely out of our element with these extreme film buffs watching Life of Brian. But I requested Life of Brian because that is my favorite of the Monty Python movies when I remembered watching them, and like in my early 20s probably is the last time I watched it. So I am stoked to be on that. But yeah, you know, Backlot 605, check it out, guys. I mean, you know, just keeping those connections, and we have some really promising, exciting guests coming up here if we can all lock them all down. So just pay attention, guys. You know, we're gonna be having a lot of fun.
It's awesome. Well, with that, you guys will throw up our little crawler here. If you guys are on the Twitters and want to connect, feel free. @a comic book look for the whole squad. @Tom Stu Divine for Mr. Tom. @John on Demand for himself. And then, you guys, we are proudly sponsored by Rainbow Comics, cards and collectibles. So here in Sioux Falls, swing by, say howdy to the gang at 42nd in Minnesota. And then if you're in Lincoln, Nebraska as well, stop by and say hi. We got a great group down there too, bringing you the greatest in comic book earthing. So perfect. Well, we are just, again, this has been such a fast start to the year. And Tom and I were just like, yeah, it's already Wednesday. Let's do an episode, you know. So thank you guys for your continued support and tuning in with us and rocking with us. Thank you to those that commented. We love hearing from you, and feel free to send us a note, reply to the video. Would love to have the conversations. And there's so much to talk about with books, and that's what we love doing. So, Tom, anything else?
No, man, I'm excited. Mike, if you're still watching, I did get paybacks on Hoopla to reread that since they mentioned it in crossover, and I know that's you mentioned we have to all get together and talk about it. So yes, we do, and I am going to read it again. I did read it back when it came out, but super stoked to be back in that book as well. But yeah, other than that, guys, I mean, Mike, thanks for watching. Always, I miss you, dog. You know, Derek, thanks for commenting. Appreciate you watching as well, man. Everybody else out there watching. And of course, #1 shout out to Johnny Boy. Appreciate you doing a comic book look for me, dog, and hanging out on this Wednesday. Even when things are crazy in our lives and in the world, we still get to have this to lock us down on Wednesday, which is really nice, man.
Exactly. No, it's all good. It's a good community to be a part of, and thank you everyone for being a great part of it. And we'll look forward to talking with some more books next week too, and see what is on the shelves at that time. You guys know the drill as always, though, as we're flipping our pages, we're turning our calendars, we're buckling up for 2021. Just make sure to, you know, keep a positive, keep calm, and keep it comics for sure, man. Boom. And then I hit
Green Ranger out.
Boom.